Cool. We're on fucking real today. We've got my man Dan Rogers.
How are you, man?
Going well, brother.
Good.
Thanks for coming in on a Sunday
happy
morning.
to be here, man.
Yeah, awesome, bro. So I've got you as man. I've got you as a well, we just discussed before, man. You're not boxing anymore, but you're definitely a mentor, coach, trainer.
Trying to be.
Yeah. Running
Always
a wicked
learning, man.
Yeah. What else you got going on, bro?
No, we were just talking before. I got the side hustle going on as well, and like I'm really like I follow a lot of podcasts and like audiobooks and stuff, and I really think in this day and age you got to have a little side gig going on. So I've got my career business as well. So just doing a couple of days a week on that, but just trying to build that up and
because you're also a family man as well, man.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
all the money goes a long way.
Doesn't go far. Doesn't go far these days.
Yeah, that's it, bro. So today, man, I mean, look, I know a lot about your gym. I've been lucky enough to be trained by you and getting down there and being sweated out and pushed hard and, and I got a lot from it, especially in some of my harder times and things like that. And that's sort of what I want to talk about today, Dan. I want to talk about, in those tough times, what it is you offer. So I don't know, maybe talk a little bit about what you do at your gym. I mean, we were talking about ice baths before and whatnot. So
yeah, cool. Look, to be honest, I'm really happy to be on here. This kind of speaks to me as well as all men. I've had a lot of struggles in my life too. Been locked up when I was younger. I've seen a lot of addiction in my family, so I've seen a lot of mental health stuff too. So I'm happy to be involved and try and give back there. And same in the gym. I just do it because it gives me purpose. I didn't plan on becoming a boxing coach. I was working in restaurants and stuff, and I was just boxing myself, but. Just did it because it gives me purpose, gives me value, and I can still be part of boxing even when I'm not fighting anymore myself. And
what have you got going on at the moment with the boxing sort of coaching stuff?
Yeah, man, it's been a big year. So last year we had one of our lads make the Commonwealth Games. He boxed at the Commonwealth Games.
Cool.
He had his pro debut not long after that as well. And then we had two of our other elite boxers in the next nationals after that. They went all the way through and won silver at nationals. So, I mean, we've had 3 national medalists in the last year.
Sweet.
Commonwealth Games and a pro debut sort of thing, which is
cool.
Pretty cool. But to be honest, I also just my favourite thing is the novices and the new guys. We got a stack of novices and new people coming through, and I get a lot of value out of that. Blank canvases, and you just work on them, and they just soak up everything you say. So,
well, that's what I was going to say. So, what do you sort of more? Because I see you doing more the amateurs side of things in that as well. Like, but is that just more your focus? What you get a lot out of compared to going down the pro type of?
Yeah, I'm not against going down the pro thing. Like one of our lads, he's been doing it for 15 years, and he's more than done his apprenticeship, and he's ready to go down the pro route. But like, if I was going to take a boxer pro, I'd either want them to have a good amateur background, or sometimes it might just be a case of they've had a fairly good amateur background, but they're getting a bit older now, so it'd be nice for them to make a bit of money and have those memories as well before packing it in. But for the most part, you get a lot of people that will come and say, I want to be a pro boxer, and they haven't even had one amateur fight. So I sort of feel like you got to put the yards in there first, and try to get to national level if you can. Try to win or medal at national level, or try to get some international exposure and build a bit of resume too. Because anyone could turn pro. You don't need to have any amateur fights. But the problem is, you want somewhat of a resume. So you've been at national or international level. So if you are going to have a good crack at it, you've got to get some sponsors and people get behind you, not just this is this average guy that's just popped up out of nowhere. So that's...
So with I know a lot of the American boxers sort of work their way up through that, don't they? Is it like that in Australia as well? Like how does Tim Tszyu? Like, I mean, did he sort of get up?
Do you know what? Like we're pro boxing in Australia is on fire now.
I know, man.
Yeah,
I know.
Like man, we got some champions, Jai Patea, George Kambosos. Like we got good guys.
Yeah.
Tim Tszyu is good. You know. So Tim was never a national champion as a senior. He turned over a little bit younger.
Because I saw when he first come on the scene for me was on that was on the Horn fight against Pacquiao. Yeah. And that's when I was like, I put 2 and 2 together. I was like, oh fuck, this is cool. But
that was I think he might have been when he fought Jack Brubaker maybe.
Okay.
Maybe. But look, George Kambosos never won a national championship. He 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 was a good youth boxer, and look what George has done. Do you know what I mean? So
I know,
like,
man.
we're doing well.
Yeah, it's wicked.
It's not the be all and end all.
Bring it down here to Australia, man, was pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess for those that are listening to this and sort of want to have a crack at boxing, how would they go about it?
Yeah, man, absolutely. Like for our gym, we've got a full process for them to go through from beginner, to build they come into a skills class, they do that for a period of time. There's no set period of time. Some people adapt and learn quick, and some people take a little bit longer. And then if they decide they want to start to spar and, put it into practice, then we've got our intermediate group and they can sort of see how they start going there. And for some people, they're happy to spar and just kind of feel like they're improving skills. They don't want to fight. And then other people, might get there and their confidence builds and they decide, hey, man, I want to have a go at fighting. So we might move them to the fight team. But, I mean, we try to create this sort of pathway where anyone can get through there.
I mean, I can't really talk enough about boxing, man. I mean, just like from, I guess, just even from the fitness level, man. Like, I mean, you're doing strength and conditioning now as well. I see as well. So, I mean, that's an added.
We're trying to really build that.
Yeah. I mean, that's just as important to me. But I know from a boxing point of view, when we're obviously on Fucking Real, we're talking about mental health and men's mental health in particular. And on that note, how much boxing, I mean, this is why I wanted so grateful to have you on board, man, is just because boxing and what it can do for that mental health side of things, man, is massive. Like I mean, I just read a few notes down of it, like even just the discipline side of things, the self-confidence that it brings, it like even like you mentally on how it strengthens your mind and pushing you to new limits.
I was just chatting to one of our members the other day. I haven't seen him for a little bit, and he's kind of been dropping off and this and that. He works in the medical game, like he's got mental health issues, bipolar, and diagnosed things and stuff. And for him, he can't speak highly enough of, our gym, but just the boxing in general. It's changed his life. Cool. And then now he's kind of dropped off the last few months. And I'm like, man, let's get you in. Let's have a chat. So he's come in. We've had a chat. He's like, I'm starting to drink a bit now, and kind of it's deceptive. It creeps back in, like that's just evidence of like it works. It really does.
100%, man. Yeah. And it's those times where you don't want to go. Other times you need to get in there.
Yeah,
like I notice where I'm just like fuck, I want to go today, man. I can't. Fuck this. Or even being around people sometimes, where it's a little bit overwhelming and whatnot. But the best advice I can give is just get your fucking ass in that gym, or give Dan a call or even any local gym for that matter. It's a fucking great place. A lot of us are all like-minded as well, so it's no discrimination to where you are.
The thing is about boxing gyms as well, or group classes, gyms in general, if you're not going well, it's hard to push yourself to go to the gym and do your weights or run on the treadmill. You might get there and you do 10 minutes and go home. But all you've got to do is actually make the effort to actually get to the gym. Do you know what I mean? Once you're there, they're going to push you through it.
Yeah, that's it.
And the boxing gym is a place where ego doesn't last long, because the ones that have big egos, they realize that they're not as great as they thought they were, and they probably don't hang around too long. So there's not a great deal of ego there, and most people leave their shit at the door too. Yeah. So like I work a lot of hours. I've broken my back to build the gym, but I just sort of don't mind either, because like people will come no matter what's going on in their life. They're there to feel good. Yeah. Whereas like, I was talking to some other drivers in the courier thing and stuff like that, and they're moaning about the boss and the company and this and that. And it's like, fuck, like, doesn't that wear you out? Just like living like that. Do you know what I mean? But people go to the gym, they put their stuff at the door because they want to feel good to be there. Do you know what I mean? So that's what's nice about it.
Yeah, 100%, man. And that feeling of, especially if you, and I always say that, just get through the front doors. That's all you have to do. So, and sometimes that's fucking hard, man. I totally get that. But as soon as you're through the front doors, exactly what you said, man. Like you sort of take over from there, or you the class does. But that feeling of walking out those doors, saying you fucking done it, man. I mean, that's
well. Just I was saying to my mate. My client, but saying that, all my clients are my mates. I really like the gym. I really like the people there as well. But I was chatting to him the other day, and he's like, "It took me a lot to get here." He's like, an alcoholic, but I'm just finding myself. I drink, Monday to Friday now, and just it's a couple, but then I get lazy, and I'm turning into a bloody bit of a pisshead, And he said, for me, it's taken a lot just to come and tell you, and I probably feel a little bit more motivated already now,
Cool.
just by like I kind of feel like I've, people aren't even noticing me because I'm not out of control drinking, but I'm noticing me, and now I've kind of made myself a bit accountable there, and he said it took me a lot just to get here and have a chat with you.
Yeah, that's wicked. And I guess that's what we need to do more, man, is open up to those things, because sometimes it's not even a big deal. It's just that you've worked it up in your head to be such it's weighing you down. By talking about it helps you get a little bit.
Oh yeah, that's what I was saying to him. I was like, man, he's worked in hospitals right through the COVID and the staff shortages of nurses and doctors. So like that's a lot of pressure for him too. But I sort of said to him, I said, man, it's not easy being a man now or any time. You're trying to, when he was 20 years ago or 10 years ago when you're a bit younger, you can get pissed, stoned and high or whatever you want to do. But now it's like you're trying to keep it together. You're also trying to pay the bills and provide for your kids, and you're trying to be a better man because you want to set an example for your kids. And then you got life's pressures, society's pressures, work's pressures, and so it's not easy. It's tough.
Yeah, it is, tough, man. It's fucking tough. The expectations we've got these days, man.
It's not easy. Yeah.
I jumped on Lifeline this morning because I just wanted to get up to date with like the suicide sort of stats and things. And funny, like, I mean, look, there's 703,000 deaths through suicide every year. Yeah. That's one suicide every 40 seconds, which sort of fucking blew me away.
That's hectic, isn't it?
Mate, that's worse than
right now. There's one happening.
Yeah, exactly, man. Yeah. And for every one death, they reckon there's 20 attempts.
Yeah.
So that's how many people were actually giving it a fucking crack, been unsuccessful or not. 8.6 Australians die each year.
Yeah.
75% of those are males.
Yeah.
But the good news is they reckon in the last year it's decreased by 2%.
Cool.
So it means we're doing something.
Works. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a positive thing I got out of it, actually. Yeah, it was just good to know because I was thinking, because it feels like it's increasing, but to see a bit of a decrease was pretty,
cool.
Yeah, I think like more of this sort of stuff
more and of this,
getting it out there and whatnot.
Yeah, I it's funny. I'm just getting all these little memories now, actually. But I was just talking to a friend the other day, and he's real outgoing, but I know every now and then he drops down, and when he drops down, he kind of goes into the darkness a little bit. You just don't hear from him for a couple of weeks, and he's the kind of guy that he'll do his struggles and then come back out when he's feeling good. But I called him the other day and he was like, tired, I'm open. I was like, man, you're good, and he was like, yeah, I'm just tired and this and that. But he called me yesterday and he said, man, I just want to let you know, I really appreciate you, man, because I was fucking I just got hit hard. The fucking pressure. He's working FIFO. He's trying to also build another little company so he can get out of the FIFO game, and and he's like, man, I was fucking at the bottom, so I appreciate the calls. So more of that. Call your mates, talk with your mates, check how they're going.
Yeah. And also notice that, like on your social media, man. Like, I mean, particularly for your gym, and it's a credit to you, Dan, is that you come across that you can be approachable too, man.
Yeah.
I mean, not everyone sort of is either open to communication, but I certainly do believe, though, man, and I could probably speak on the majority of males, although we might not seem that way, we're definitely here, man. Like, if someone was struggling, I think we'd all...
You know what? I think as blokes, we're all here for our mates, but sometimes you just got to let them know we're here.
Yeah.
Because, like if I found out my mate had an issue, I said, why did you come to me? I was here. Yeah. But sometimes just let you know, man, hey, man, give us a shout, because I sent him a text, said, man, you're not sounding too good, but give us a shout if you need. And then just left it. But sometimes that's all you got to do. Just let them know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So, also opening new doors, man. Like, I mean, like, obviously living in Australia, and you know this too, man. Yeah. Like our first way of connection is like going to the pub, having a beer. You know,
but that was me last night.
Yeah, which is okay to do, obviously, but sometimes it's not the best thing to do, And I think that again, just going back to the boxing gym, like, and I've done it like with like Rao, and I've brought all mates down there, and sometimes it's a good way to just hang out for your mate, man, like booking a PT session, and and have a bit of a laugh doing it as well.
I'm doing a bit of team stuff this year, actually. Starting on Tuesday night, I'm doing a bit of pre-season for some clubs as well. But I've got Morley Gales men's Gaelic football team. So I'm doing some pre-season stuff with them. But it's actually good if you get a bunch of mates to do something. There's banter, might do a bit of body sparring or a bit of shoulder tag or wherever their level's at. But it's banter, it's fun, it's good to do some stuff with your mates.
Well, that was some of my best times. And especially seeing Raul come in too, man. Look, he's a bit of, he needed the, push, the push to, I think he lost up to like 10 or 15 kilos, man, in that time as well. And we were having fun doing it, man,
Yeah.
Yeah, I reckon encourage that.
Yeah.
I don't know, it sort of beats going down and having a coffee. Coffee's good too, man, but I think if you can do it, a bit of fitness involved, man, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, this year I want to add bits to the fitness stuff too because, for one, in this day and age, you got to add more because people watch their money more. So I want to add more value to what people are paying for. So like the strength conditioning thing, but I want to add things like, we used to go down to Robbie's, do the altitude chamber.
Yeah.
Eventually I want to get my own altitude chamber because we got the space now. I want to get an infrared sauna. We got the ice baths now. So it's not, imagine if you had a group of blokes and you did something on a Sunday,
wicked
sausage sizzle, advertised it around the local area, men's get together, sausage sizzle. Maybe at the end you could put a few beers or whatever. But you might do a 30-minute training session, a few rounds in the ice bath, bit of infrared sauna, whatever.
Yeah. So to people that are watching this podcast, keep an eye on social because like Dan and I have been sort of talking about even putting these free community events on. We're both really passionate about this cause and this mission and everything else. On and off the field and. Yeah, man. I mean, we're going to get some flyers out there.
Well, just like I was just saying, just 2 streets from where we are is Belmont Men's Shed. And I looked them up. I think there's a few men's sheds around and they do I think basically they just get together. They're not open all the time. I think they get together. They just do stuff, like it might be freaking build things, different stuff. Like they do just events like that, Yeah. And we actually did an event, our open day, when we first opened the gym, and I tried to sort of build it up as not just like a gym open day, but like a community event. So we had a bouncy castle, bring the kids if you want. That could be an option too. Bring the dads, bring the kids.
I think so.
Because sometimes for dads you need something to do with the kids too.
Yeah.
So we could kind of tie that in.
But balance it all
definitely
out.
Some community events like that.
Yeah, for sure. I was even thinking, because there's obviously having a bit. So after we've done the fitness, I was thinking we could perhaps invite someone to come and have a talk. Someone that can give a bit of inspiration or been through something, and then finish it off with a feed and some sausage sizzles.
Try to find some different guest speakers each time. That's got something to offer.
Sort of like going to church.
Yeah.
Our form of
confess your sins.
Yeah, true. Yeah, I don't know, man. Do you put a bit of sparring and things like that in there with some? I don't know.
I do, but I adjust it to the levels. Like with the football club, them boys are fit, they're strong. Obviously, they're probably not technical boxers, so we might do a bit of body sparring. So even if I did, I've done groups with girls and women and stuff. We might do a bit of shoulder tag sparring, shoulder taps, things like that. But a little bit of just make some kind of a friendly competition, but adjust it to the level. Do you know what I mean? You're not trying to get anyone killed. You're trying to have a bit of fun and, encourage a bit of healthy competition. It's good.
Yeah. No, we can't have any deaths, mate. So not on our first one anyway. Might not be that popular afterwards, And yeah, man. Well, I guess mate, this is, mate, I'm excited about it. And I'm stoked that you come on board.
Yep.
And I reckon we just watch this space, man. I think we'll get down to it and we'll push forward with doing it, man.
Yeah,
get some new people. So the people that are watching this, man, get down to Ring Fit.
Yeah. We'll get some flyers out too. We pumped out some flyers for our open day and just got them all out to the local area. So cool.
Yeah, sweet. How you juggling everything, bro? You're a father as well, man. Are you?
I'll openly say I struggle. So I'm doing all my PTs on a Tuesday and a Thursday now. I do my courier driving on a Monday and Wednesday, and I got some boys that run the classes during the day. At night time, I'll go in and train the fighters. I try and do all my admin and business stuff on a Friday. I've done a strength and con course last year, which has hurt me because I'm trying to finish all the post-course, like assignments and stuff. But
because you're learning all the time too.
I'm trying. This year I've put a lot of I try to write my goals down every year. I think that's a really important thing to do. I try and tell the boxers to do it, but even any adults, I think people should be always trying to evolve. So the last few years, my goals, when I look back at the end of the year, what I've written in my book have all been either career coaching wise or otherwise business growth. But this year it's more all about health. So, I've got rid of the TV from the bedroom. No beers Monday to Friday. Cut out TV during the week. More about getting better sleeps, being healthy, do some ice baths. Like I'm actually just trying to spend this year focusing more on my health. So I'm working a lot, but as you get older, your health as well, man.
Yeah, it's funny you say that because that's been my new focus as well, man. Like mine's just getting out of bed and just doing doing a few little things every morning, like getting to the gym. I get 3 bags of ice, chuck it in the small bath, have an ice bath.
Yeah,
I'm even trying to fit in meditation now these days.
Yeah,
and then keeping small goals, but being a little bit more focused, man, and try not to be so distracted.
Yeah. I learn all this shit off podcasts, by the way. So people say I don't wake up and think, shit, I've got to write my goals down. I go do that. I learn this off people. And I listen to audiobooks and podcasts, especially while I'm driving the van. It's pretty handy, but like
Audible.
Little things. I'm trying to add something. Like we went and saw Ant Middleton as well. Like a little thing that he did, which I liked, is he's like every morning the first thing he does when he wakes up is drink a big glass of water, get everything running. So that's what I do each morning. I've added that in. Someone writes down their goals, bang, I add that in. I didn't invent the wheel. I just find things and say, shit, that's good. Yeah, we got to start doing that.
I like how you said, because it takes discipline. Like, going Monday to Friday without having a beer, especially now in summer, man. Tough, like it is tough, man. Especially when you've had a rough day. A beer does take the edge off it, but to have that discipline to actually go from Monday to Friday, that actually builds up a lot of strength in you within yourself to be able to, get to Friday and say
TV's a big one too, man. Like because sometimes we'll just sit there and we'll just watch shit until 10:30 at night, and it's like, fuck, I'm tired, So now cut the TV out during the week.
Yeah,
like I remember when we were kids, every family had one TV, old one. You had to battle to get a picture for 20 minutes. Then you got the picture, and you might all gather around and watch Hey Hey It's Saturday. But back then, the TV was actually a family thing, and it was actually a privilege. Yeah. So families got around it. Now you're all in your different rooms watching different stuff. So like, I'm trying to just simplify.
That, yeah. I always try and have dinner with my kids at the table too, man. Everything's off.
That's another one I'm trying to do this year. Yeah,
because it's important, man. I mean, like we start off by saying what was a positive of your day, what was a negative, and what did you learn?
Yeah.
Just to sort of just get the conversation flowing, A lot of the time there are no negatives, but they've always learnt something.
And how good's that to ingrain that to them? Do you know what I mean? Like, so straight away, because my partner, she's real positive, and she'll look at anything, and she'll look at a person and she'll say, I really like that about them, or this. She's really positive, and that kind of, breathes into me as well. And, it's the positive breathes into positive. So, you're giving that to them, and they're going to start becoming more positive. So they're actually never looking for what's bad in their day. They're looking for what's good and what they're grateful for.
Yeah. I used to, when I'd pick up my daughter Summer and Jamison from school, they'd always want to go and get a slushie from 7-Eleven.
Yeah.
And I said, I don't mind doing that, but when I pick you up, I want to, because I used to pick them up and I'd go, how's school? Good. Yeah. So I said, now when I pick you up, I want to hear 3 positive things that you got out of the day.
Yeah.
And if you've got them, I'll take you to go get a slushie.
Cool.
Mate, Jamison used to tell me his 3 things as soon as he ran out of the classroom door, man, because he's thinking throughout the day of like what he's, grateful about. And,
so cool.
It's just little things like that, eh?
I like that, because I'll ask my son, how was school today? Good. What did you do? I learned and play. Yeah. All right, what you learn? Nothing. Like, come on, man. Come on.
Yeah, exactly. I'll go past 7-Eleven, brother. It's only 80 cents for a small one too, man. Sweet. And what was I going to say there? Look, I was going to ask you, man. Do you a lot of your disciplines and your drive for work and that? Do you reckon a lot of that come from boxing, man?
Yeah, it did. 100%. Also, I had a hard life. It wasn't easy. We grew up in housing estates. I got locked up when I was younger. I made a lot of mistakes too. Yeah. But I learned a lot from those. They're actually very valuable to me, the mistakes I made. I'm really, how would you say it? I'm really like unapologetically me. I really like all those mistakes. I'm really grateful for having made them, because they've got to me where I'm at, and they've certainly helped me with my discipline, because now I have a a no going back attitude. We got to press forward. So 100%. If you own your mistakes, they're such good things.
Yeah, I know, man. I mean, even with some of the hardships, even as of late, man, some of the hardships I go through and the darkest moments, and then like now coming out of it, you look back, and if someone was to say, "Could you change any of that?" I'm like, "Nah," because I've learned so much, man. You know,
No way, yeah.
and it only makes the new positive experiences even. Yeah, you're grateful for them too, man. You appreciate things a lot more. You know.
Yeah.
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 And but yeah, with boxing, I was the reason why I asked is because I know that a lot of the discipline and more or less like the fight, you know, it teaches you how to not panic, I guess, in some ways as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what? Absolutely. Like I say to people, I say I've actually learned how to live through combat sports because previously I didn't know, you know, and I mean I didn't have always the best example growing up. My parents sort of did the best they could do, but you know, I actually have learned how to live through combat sports. You know, like I've been in some fucking really tough spots business wise. You know, man. You know, like business is tough. You know, and I've been in some really tough spots. But you've got that the grit and the endurance and the perseverance that you learn from boxing.
Yeah.
You know, there's so many like.
Was it
so
the key?
Skills.
It's the key of just getting up, isn't it, man?
Absolutely.
You know, like
absolutely.
One thing I learned from I used to go to a men's group, and the biggest thing I learned about the men's group, and it was around drugs and alcohol.
Yep.
At first, I was very much like, "Fuck going to a men's group. Fuck that ain't for me. I'm okay." You know, I had a business at the time, and I'm, you know, like you sort of look down at the idea of it. Mate, one of the best things I've ever done for myself, man. Yeah. And I got rid of my ego straight away.
That's your ego.
Your fucking ego, man. You know?
Yeah.
And yeah, exactly right, bro.
Yeah.
And then once I'm in there and the way that they conducted it, it was at Hollyoak, if anyone's interested. But yeah. But fuck, man. And having a group of men down there of all different walks of life. All sorts of walks of life. And yeah, man. And the biggest thing about it, well, one of the biggest things I got out of it was the whole how much if we've done something wrong, or we're fucked up at something, how much we torture ourselves, like we self-destruct ourselves, or it's all this negative talk of like, oh, fuck, it's all over, or, you know, where it's extremely important to be able to get, you know, so to speak, like get back up on the horse, man. You know, you go, as long as you learn from it.
Yeah.
You know, you cop it under the chin or whatever it may be, but you got to move on, man.
Yeah. Do you know, I say, I really believe, I think the two most, like as a man, if I'm talking to say some young boxers, I've got kids, younger people, the two best things that you could learn as a man is how to communicate and also how to say sorry or like own things, you know, because as a man, you will fuck up all the time. But if you can't own them, you're just going to be a life of fuck ups that can't accept that. So just accepting your fuck ups and learning to communicate. If you can do those two things, you've made it. Job's done.
Fucking yeah, exactly. Sometimes it seems to be fucking hard to say sorry.
It's
right?
Not easy, man. Nah. Especially if you're in a relationship. Learn how to say sorry, man. It'll save your relationship.
And learn from it, bro.
Yeah, of course. That's the trick.
Yeah. Ego's a big word, though, man.
Yeah,
you know, like it's even, and sometimes we don't even know it's happening.
Yeah.
You know, that voice in your head. Yeah. But being aware of it. Well, that's another thing too, isn't it, Dan? Just being aware, man.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes you don't necessarily need to do something about it. Just understanding it, being aware of it.
It gets easier with age, you know, like it does. But having said that, some people take a little longer than others. Some people get it a little quicker than others. But you know, as you get a bit older, you start to become a little bit, you know, like I've had times where I knew I should have said, you know, that was me. I should have owned that. But I was just so stubborn that like I just didn't want to look embarrassed by actually admitting that I did wrong.
Yeah.
You know, but there's nothing wrong with that.
Nah, exactly right. I like when I lost Bozzy, I was very delusional in the way of it was everything else. You know, like I got ripped off money. You know, which I did in all fairness. You know, like it was. You know, I don't believe it was my fault, but now the way I look back at it is that like, well, it was my fault. I employed those people.
Yeah.
I allowed that to happen.
Yeah.
I could have better managed it.
Yeah.
And I was, you know, I could have been more present with it. Yeah. So a lot of it is reflecting back to yourself.
Yeah.
And even that in itself, one, recognizing that and putting your hand up and saying, no, this is my fault. But secondly, then to be able to forgive yourself for it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Especially with such a big loss, you know, of something like that you've built up and it's close to you, you know.
Yeah, and then your whole identity.
Yeah, exactly, bro. Yeah. So there are processes in that, and I guess that's the same thing with relationships. Sometimes we find it hard to get back up on the horse, or you know, or fitness, or drugs and alcohol, or whatever it may be. You know, I think the key is to
perseverance, man. Perseverance. You don't always enjoy it.
Yeah.
Like I'll say that about boxing too, especially for like elite level boxers, ones that have been doing it for years. And like I've had some, I've had some boxers where we went to nationals after nationals after nationals and fell short every time. Do you know what I mean? And then sometimes winning it, or I had one boxer fell short at nationals and then won a gold at Arafura Games. Do you know what I mean? Like
cool.
perseverance is key. But boxing or anything you're trying to be your best at essentially is a relationship, and in relationships you don't always enjoy them, but you gotta ride the waves, and then eventually enjoyment comes back around too, but you don't always enjoy it, but you must persevere.
So, I just on that relationships side of things, so we have a lady who's been like my life coach for years. Wicked chick. I've already done one podcast with her, and we were meant to podcast last week, and like she was sick, but lucky she was, because we she wasn't real sick, but just didn't do the podcast. But we were going to do it on relationships.
Cool.
So anyway, we had a phone call that night, and we're just like, man, we can't just have a podcast about relationships, because relationships, there's so many different categories.
There's relationships from a woman's point of view and relationships from a man's point of view, both equally offering something, but
so we're splitting them up into, so we're going to do a series
right.
For those that are listening to tune in for that,
Yeah.
And the series, because one thing is, there's relationships that we know is with your partner and whatnot, but some of the biggest ones is the relationship with yourself, which is probably more important than anything. We're also going to talk about the relationship with money as well, man. Because
cool.
So
that's a big one. Like 90% of the anxieties I've had in life come around money. They say money doesn't buy happiness, but I always have this saying, but I don't see many people crying on a jet ski. I mean, it doesn't buy happiness, but lack of it also causes a lot of unhappiness. Do you know what I mean? So you don't need to be rich, but you definitely want to be sound and stable financially. Do you know what I mean?
The way I look at happiness, man, it's like having a tool belt. I look at money as being like your hammer. It's a big tool, man. You got to have that in your tool belt.
And money enables you to get shit done.
But you also need a tape measure. That might be your fitness. You know, and I feel like the more tools you're really good with, man, the easier it is to navigate your way through life. That obviously, sleep, eating, friends, community. And all these different tools that you got in there. The easier it helps. Because I think sometimes people do just focus on money and I'll be happy, or I've got to get a family, or my career, and it's like they just focus all in there, and then they sort of get there and it's like, Now
the problem is as well is people, there's so much going on in life now as well that people can only put their focus into, say, one thing at a time. So I'll put all my focus into money, but then while I've done that shit, I've got my financial house in order, but fucking hell, my fitness has fallen to pieces, my relationships fallen to pieces, so you got to be just topping up the bank balance, a little bit of money here, topping up the balance of health, topping up the balance of relationships, trying to, check all boxes and build them all up slowly together, not build one.
And another thing out of Milton, the book, what's his name again? Anthony Milton?
Ant Middleton.
Ant Middleton, I read it as well, like how he goes out to the back door, opens up the back door and just takes a bit of fresh air, man, because I think it's out of his book. He mentions that. And so I do that every morning, like even just to open up that door, take that fresh air. We're in Australia, we're good. I've got my family here, I've got my kids, I've got everything's good. Because it really is, man. And it's about and if it's not, it's about just getting through that time.
And look at Ant Middleton, all of his life skills and coping skills is what he's learned from the military. It's no different to combat sports or your military, or these things that are physically taxing make you stronger. And I'm not talking about physically stronger, but they make you a more resilient person. He's done the SAS courses and all that stuff, the boxing, all of that. They make you a more resilient person. They give you life skills.
Yeah, man.
So
100%. And he's had his fair share of failures.
For sure. Yeah.
He talks about that. That's a wicked book, man.
Man, I've had heaps of failures in business too. That's another one too, and like heaps. And the more business owners, I really enjoy talking to business owners, because I've met some really successful ones, and they're like, dude, I can't tell you how many times I fucked up. I spent some good bits of money in areas I really shouldn't have, and lost sums of 30, 40 grand at a time. Like, fuck, but. In hindsight, man, like
you got to be making mistakes.
They've made me resilient, man, and I've learned. Like that's it.
Because if you're not making mistakes, you're not doing anything outside the. You're complacent.
Yep.
Obviously, if you can do educated mistakes, are better than complete fuck ups.
Yeah, like trial and error type mistakes.
Yeah, and like you say, you get better at making mistakes.
That's the thing as well. Actually, speaking of that, with complacency, is another somewhere I've heard in one of my podcasts is just getting comfortable being a bit more uncomfortable, and I mean that by little things. So this year I've started doing cold showers in the morning. Like it's okay now, it's summertime, but I'm trying to adapt myself so when winter comes around I can still have a cold shower. And the ice bath for me is that too, because I'm a wimp in the ice bath, but I'm trying to just get comfortable being uncomfortable. Not take the stairs, don't take the lift, don't look for the luxuries, like those things.
And being aware of it, man. Like Dave Goggins, I'm reading his second book now at the moment as well. He's like, if you see a harder path, go down it.
Yeah, he's tough. He's mad.
I mean, like you see the ice bath, fuck God, I want to jump in the ice bath, but man, do it. Fucking do it. And it's even like Tony Robinson. He says the main reason he does an ice bath in the morning is because he's training his mind. So he goes, when I want to fucking do something, I do it. I don't let my brain tell me I shouldn't do it, or it's too cold, or I'm too tired, or fucking because that's what your brain's gonna. He's gonna talk you. Your brain's gonna talk you out of fucking doing an ice bath or anything like that. So that's what he says. He goes, the main reason I do it is to prove to myself I'm in control and not my thoughts. Yeah. Fuck, man, I can't wait to come do an ice bath down at the gym, brother.
We did a couple yesterday, actually. After we had a big sparring day yesterday, a bunch of clubs down and stuff.
Oh, cool.
And just jumped in there. It was good.
Yeah, sweet. Do you allow people to come down and even have a little bit of a look at that, or is it just more for your
absolutely. Like, I even post in our members area too. I built up a bunch of groups in members area. I've also got a boxing WA coaches forum. I'm crazy with the groups and stuff, but I just try to put a bit of focus this year into the digital side and the social media side, and because that's the way the world's working. So I mean, I don't always enjoy it, but you got to do it.
Yeah.
And I'll post up in our groups, guys. We love when the parents come down, watch. We had people sparring from bloody elite level pro boxers yesterday, all the way down to cubs 10 years old. Cool. And the mums and dads come and watch the kids spar and stuff.
Sweet.
So
I'll bring Jamison down, mate.
Yeah, it's cool. Yeah. I've got my youngest one. He's a cub. He would be 10, and he's trained for about the last year or so, but he had his first fight a few months ago.
Cool.
So,
yeah, sweet, man. I actually had Jamison in the ice bath this morning with me, mate.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah. He held his head under the water for 10 seconds, which was a big thing for him. And it's good. It's good teaching all the young fellas too, man. Like you say, it comes with age. All these things that we've been talking about, and it's important for us to share as much of it with the younger crew coming through, man.
And that's the thing of communication too. Like if we can be able to, like, we have knowledge. If we can communicate it to these people, then how much better are they for it?
Yeah, sweet. We'll leave it at that. For now, Dan.
Lovely.
Fucking great chat though, bro.
Yeah, cool.
And I reckon we do more of it. Obviously, we're going to do some more community stuff, so stay in tune for that, everyone, because Dan and I are definitely going to get on top of that. So we'd love to see everyone down there with all these things that we're doing. Dan's obviously explained how Ring Fit's doors are always open to everyone.
No dramas. I'll give a quick plug as well. Like, just check us out on Instagram. I'll share up the fucking reel on our socials as well. So check out their page. You guys are your Insta and Facebook?
Yeah, we are. So we're on Insta and all that at the moment. The podcasts aren't really going to go live until another 4 weeks. But anyway, man, stay tuned. It's all happening. Cool. And we appreciate all the support from the gym too, bro.
Lovely.
Yeah, cool.
Wicked.
All the best, brother.
Lovely. Appreciate it.
See you, mate.
Cheers.
Bye.